I've submitted a plan to balance the federal deficit, to balance the budget, the annual budget, to Sharice Williams and David Schmidt. David Schmidt is my congressman here in Independence, and Sharice Williams is the person of like mind from Kansas. It calls for creative currency swaps to handle the interest on the debt. Now, the interest on the debt is scheduled to increase the most out of any other expenditure. So, if we could take that off the books and find a way to fund that, that would be an investment. And there are a lot of folks who want dollars. It's the global reserve currency, but they don't have enough of them to keep it as a reserve currency. So I suggest creative currency swaps to ensure that folks can keep the dollar as the reserve currency, and then also with that pay our interest on the debt. The other half of that is Pentagon funding. I think we should be more proactive about funding the military, and I think half of the budget we should tithe and make clear how we're spending it so that we get port calls in other parts of the world and folks want us to come. They say, hey, we hear you have hay or nuts or whatever we would at TVs that you tariff from China. I think we ought to be able to pay the tariffs in goods so that you, rather than 124% tariffs on China, maybe they can just take 5 out of 8 of your items, one for each of the branches of the military. And then the military can distribute those things, and half of the budget we tithe in transparency and good global governance, and the other half we simply reconcile against the onerous United Nations contributions that our country has been expected to make, and it's really unfair to us, but we can reconcile it against half of the Pentagon funding and pay our military and pay our debt, whether or not there's a government shutdown. And those each are about $1 trillion a year, and our deficit is $2 trillion a year. So if you can take both of those off the books, I think that balances the budget. But then we need some fiscal tightening. So I would suggest rolling back the tax cuts, except for the payroll tax deduction, which a lot of us like, not paying taxes on taxes. So if you're paying property taxes, you shouldn't have to pay income taxes off of your property taxes, and the Obamacare subsidies. And that is my plan to reopen the government.